I'm Adam Maokai, and we are live at PAX Prime in Seattle, Washington for the League of Legends North American Regionals. The players' energy is electric, as a win today not only guarantees them a spot in the League of Legends Season 2 World Championships, but a spot in the Championship Series for Season 3. With so much on the line, these matches are guaranteed to be epic. And it all starts now.
Are you guys ready for some League of Legends action?
The intensity in this room right now, thousands of people watching.
Look at this initiation combo. But they're gonna go for the counterattack.
Triple kill.
Too much damage is being dealt. Will they have what it takes to take down both?
Everything is gonna go down. This is insane.
One more shot to go, the Nexus falls. Securing themselves into the World Championships.
Undisputed and the first place seed at the championship in Los Angeles.
Welcome, Summoners, to the Season 2 League of Legends North American Regionals. Please welcome your hosts, Rachel Puerco and Adam Maokai.
All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Adam Maokai.
And I'm Rachel Puerco, and we will be your hosts for today's awesome North American Regional action.
Hey, guys, oh, there we go. Hey, guys, before we get started, we like to gauge the energy level in the room, and there's so many of you here. You guys excited to be here? Yeah!
That is our biggest reaction yet. It's day 3 of the action. PAX is in full effect, and we've already seen 2 amazing days of intense competition here at the League of Legends North American Regionals. We're so glad that you guys at home are watching, and we're so glad that all you guys here have decided to join us.
Are you guys ready to get this started? All right. Let's pass it over to the guys who'll be breaking down all of the action, Jaws and Jat.
Thanks, Adam and Rachel. I'm Steve Jaws Jaworski.
And I'm Joshua Jat Leisman, and we are thrilled to be back here at PAX for day 3 of the League of Legends North American Regionals. We've already seen so many great matches, but before we get into today's match between Team Solomon and Curse, why don't we take a look back at everything that went down on day 2.
Day 2 started with a bloodthirsty team dynamic. With the help of Morgana's stun, Zion on Nidalee takes first blood, singing Sona a sweet, sweet lullaby after igniting and delivering a spear to her face. Hoping to extend an early lead, Nintendude playing Olaf jumps in on Rumble to lay down some damage under top turret. However, Dominate scampers to the rescue. Skara's ult drops Zion and Skarner nearly takes out Olaf. Dignitas starts to show some nice zoning skill, Skara on Karthus draining Morgana down with Defile, allowing Cutie Pie on Kog'Maw to pick up a double kill. Skara would finish off Nunu, and Dignitas would move right in to take Dragon. 2 minutes later, Dignitas, feeling confident, pushing mid inhibitor, would get a rude awakening from Paradoxical's Morgana and Ziggs Corki, both picking up double kills, while Olaf and Nunu take down Sona, earning Team Dynamic the first ace of the game. 29 minutes in, with a 17-10 kill lead in favor of Dignitas, Skara's Karthus would continue face-melting opponents with Defile, and the damage output of late-game Kog'Maw, as well as Rumble, would prove to be too much for Dynamic. With the gold, turret, and kill lead well out of grasp, Dynamic would fall in Game 1. Skara and Karthus showed what a global AP harass can do when used effectively. Game 2 started on rails as Dignitas predicted Team Dynamic's opening move.
Game 2, we called their invade. We knew that they were going to invade from the river onto our blue side, and we knew that they were exactly going to come through there, and they did. Olaf face-checked the brush against us, and we managed to get first blood on Jax. And after you get first blood on the top lane in champion, it's very hard to come back from.
Crumb's early first blood allowed him to play very aggressive top, though paradoxical on Gragas would show some resistance with a well-placed barrel. 11 minutes in, a sneaky Nintendude on Olaf robs Dignitas of a dragon kill. A while later, Pixel on Blitzcrank perfect rocket grab over the wall to destroy Cutie Pie. From that point on, it was almost entirely the Jax show. Crumbs would roam from lane to lane, battle to battle, taking out anyone within leaping range. A double kill at 27 minutes brought his KDA to 8-2-4. Fed so hard, Jax wouldn't have to eat for weeks. Terrorizing together with I Will Dominate, the final Nexus push would net 3 more kills and legendary status for Crumbs, as well as a decisive win for Dignitas. Crumb's performance could not be summed up any better than by his team leader.
Oh, Crumbs is a beast.
Match 2 pitted the number 7 seed Legion against the 2-seeded CLG Prime. Just under 4 minutes into the game, Hotshot GG's Mundo caught Laudamortis' Maokai in his own jungle. Lauda flashed over the wall to escape from the Mundo Cleaver, but he landed right in the path of Chowster, who drew first blood with a Sona power chord. Laudamortis was not able to escape Hotshot a second time. Double lift Sivir chased down Inubish on Soraka and set up Voyboy's Olaf for the kill. This allowed CLG to extend their lead to 5 kills to 2 and 2,000 gold at 6.5 minutes. After securing the Baron buff, CLG made their way into Legion's base. Led by Double Lift's triple kill with Sivir, CLG was able to force one last team fight on their way to destroying the Nexus. Double Lift's play on Sivir really helped CLG secure Game 1. He went 8-2-6 with a game-high 236 minion kills. Game 2 started with both teams invading each other's jungle. Legion's Inubish realized CLG was trying to steal their blue buff, but with the help of Blitzcrank's rocket grab, he was able to neutralize the invade. At just over 6 minutes, Laudamortis' aggressive play on Malphite secured the kill on Hotshot's Mundo with the help of Cruiser on Rumble. At 43 minutes, Legion took a 10-kill-to-3 lead after taking out Voyboy's Olaf and Chaucer's Janna. They then decided to take Baron, but CLG punished them for it as Big Fat's Twisted Fate and Double Lift took out a base turret, an inhibitor, and destroyed a Nexus turret after a double kill from Double Lift. Meanwhile, back in CLG's base, Demon Lol and Corki and Laudamortis had returned the favor with a base turret and inhibitor of their own. After Legion caught Big Fat near Baron, Double Lift and Voyboy teleported bottom lane to retake Legion's inhibitor. This led to one of the most exciting finishes we've seen here at the North American region.
Picks up one, but the Nexus is available! Legion is trying to deal enough damage! Can they make it happen? They're trying to come, and yes, they will! Legion brings it 1-1!
It was so down to the wire at the end there. I knew that Rumble was TPing in a bush, and so like I did this clutch play where I like ran and I dodged them while 5 of them were on me, and then I went for the TP, but I missed the cleaver, I think. You know, we were still in the advantageous position. We were going to win the game, and then there was a miscommunication between Voy and Double Lift, and we ended up dying there, and that was pretty much a good game.
Crawley's Gragas earns the MVP for the outstanding defense of his team's base. The third and deciding game started off with Legion abusing Big Fat's Orianna in mid lane. Legion took an early 2-0 lead by killing her twice in the span of 2 minutes. After giving up the first 2 kills of the game, Big Fat turned it around and put CLG on the board by taking out Crawley's Gragas with some help from Hotshot's Cho'Gath. Tensions ran high in this elimination game, but Big Fat kept his cool. He provided 2 clutch shields that kept his teammates alive. First, he bailed Voyboy's Vladimir out. He then made Hotshot that much more durable during the final team fight on their way to victory.
Will they get it? Wow. Yes! Counter Logic Gaming moves on to tomorrow.
For keeping his teammates alive and well, Big Fat earns the MVP for his Orianna. Taking a closer look at the team stats, this match was a lot closer than CLG had anticipated.
So let's get right into today's first match between Team Solo Mid and Curse.
Team Solo Mid and Curse Gaming,
two teams that have been around forever, it seems, and they've played a ton as well.
There's a growing rivalry between these two teams. They met in the finals at IPL Faceoff, where TSM 2-0'd them convincingly. We'll see what they've learned since then and whether they've improved to a point where they can take down Team Solo Mid.
And we've said what we think. Now we're going to toss it over to Adam and Rachel to introduce these two teams.
Thanks so much, guys. We're going to kick today off with a much-anticipated matchup between two teams that are quickly creating one of the better rivalries in the North American scene. We have Team Solo Mid and Curse Gaming.
All right, guys, let me get a sense here. Who's here for Curse? All right. And who's here for TSM?
Now, what do you say we bring them out? Yeah?
Sounds good. First to the stage. On day one, these guys showed why they've been at the top of the standings virtually all season. Introducing the #1 seed, starting as the blue team, it's TSM. First up, ladies and gentlemen, he's known as one of the most aggressive mids in the game. It's Reginald.
Always with a gift for the fans. Next up, slotting in at top and never to be seen without his signature pillow, it's Dyrus.
All right, coming up next, an innovative... All right, guys, coming up next, an innovative jungler that sets his team up for success. Please give it up for the Odd One.
This versatile player is comfortable in every role, but for TSM, he's holding down support. X Special! Solid throw.
Fresh off a dominant game in the quarterfinals, he is playing like an AD carry on a mission. Let's hear it for Chaos! Woo!
All right, guys, let's hear it one more time for Team Solo Mid.
It's a lot of love in this room, a lot of love in this room. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, they are a team on the rise. After dominating their competition on day one, can they keep the momentum going? The red team, #4 seed, Curse Gaming. All right, first up at top lane, showing us flashes of dominance, it's Ryze.
Known for his very popular League of Legends website, Reign of Gaming, one of the most popular figures in the esports League of Legends scene, please welcome Element!
There we go. All right, coming off his best performance, this AD carry is looking to carry the momentum into the semis. Give it up for Cop! How you doing, man?
Next up, the shot caller for Curse, infamous in the jungle, it's Saint Vicious!
And finally, looking to continue his hot streak from the past few tournaments, it's Jackie!
Let's give it up one more time for Curse Gaming! All right, guys, now we're going to send it back over to Jet and Jaws to kick off the action.
Thanks, guys. Earlier, we sat down with these two rivals, and here's what they had to say about today's match.
First TSM is going to be a great matchup. All out, these teams have awesome strats, awesome theory crafters, and really great junglers.
We've always beaten them pretty handily, and it should be the same here.
I think TSM's notorious for being like a really aggressive team, and we can't let them push us around. I think is the biggest thing.
TSM is so aggressive when it comes to objectives. In order for Curse to win, they need to punish TSM's aggression.
If we're aggressive back at them, they're going to be the ones that are going, whoa, hold up, like this isn't how they usually play, and I think that's going to throw them a curveball.
I feel like Curse has they may have some surprises.
Yeah, we got a secret weapon.
It's always a tall order to face off against TSM. Curse is gonna have to pull something special out in addition to just playing solid.
All right, let's take a look at TSM's key to taking this semifinal series.
And really the very first key is they have to own the jungle. The Odd One has a long history against St. Vicious back for when he was on CLG. It's all about counter jungling. If the Odd One can get into St. Vicious' jungle and then his team can collapse around it, or if St. Vicious can invade his jungle, TSM will collapse around him. They did a great job with it in the quarterfinals. If they can do it again here, that's going to be really big for them.
And not just that, Reginald, the mid player from TSM, has to dominate.
Really, how Reggie goes is how TSM goes. He's the one who initiates these team fights. He is the emotion of TSM. If he gets on tilt, it'll be bad. But if he gets going, they'll just carry these wins through. And the big thing about this is, Jackie and St. Vicious are really TSM's two big, or Curse's two big playmakers. And if they can shut them down, they'll shut the entire team down.
And they're going to shut them down. We saw this in their quarterfinal by pressuring objectives, even at level 1.
So the big thing that Curse does really well recently is they take blue buff, they take the dragon, on perfect timers. And if TSM can just get there and pressure Curse when they're doing that, make it difficult for them, that's going to be a key to the game.
Well, let's see if TSM's going to be able to do that. And now we're going to take a look at Curse's keys to the game. First off, we said it, TSM is so aggressive, so Curse is going to have to punish that TSM aggression.
This is something that Monomaniac did very well against TSM in the quarterfinals, getting that first blood when TSM tried to invade the blue buff. Curse is going to be ready for these things. They've done their homework on TSM. When TSM goes for those early ganks, goes for those early jungle invades, Curse needs to be there to punish it.
And they don't just have to protect their jungle, they have to follow their jungler, St. Vicious's lead.
Really, St. Vicious is the main shot caller for Curse. Where he goes, the rest of the team has to follow. When Curse is not playing well, St. Vicious goes in alone. When they are playing well, the whole team goes in as a unit.
And speaking of initiations, Curse is going to have to pick their fights wisely.
This is something they did an exceptional job with in the quarterfinals against TSM.evo. There were games where they were behind on gold mid-game, and then they just went into the right fights and the right engagements. And that's even more important against Team Solo Mid because of how good TSM converts victories. So if Curse picks their fights wisely and does the other points, they might have a chance in this game.
All right, now let's take a look at our featured matchup in the mid lane, Reginald facing off against Jackie.
Really, Jackie has been on a tear lately, but Reginald still thinks he has his number a little bit. Reggie's so known for going aggressive early, pressuring the lane, and then jumping down to the others to pressure the rest of the game. Really, if Reginald doesn't get going, they can't start team fights. If Jackie doesn't get going, there's no one to go in with St. Vicious. Both these guys, so much really hinges on that matchup. That's why it's so important.
And an interesting fact, Jackie actually has more kills than Reginald, but Reginald having more assists, so that roaming is really paying off for him. So we've given our opinions on these two great teams, but we want to hear what you have to say. go to the League of Legends Facebook page to weigh in or jump on Twitter and use the hashtag NARegionals.
So it looks like the players are ready. I think we're ready. The only question is, are the fans quite ready? We're ready to start the game and get into Champion Select. It's a nice reaction.
Jed, I think the fans are ready. And for those of you watching at home, thank you for tuning in. We're going to be getting into Champion Select in just a couple of seconds.
These bans actually flying out, and the biggest surprise so far, no Fiddlesticks in the support role. They actually banned it out.
I can't say I'm surprised. We saw, it seemed like a Magic Resist shred composition from Curse Gaming with elements on the support fiddle. Fiddlesticks has so much crowd control. He's got the silence, he's got the fear, and that Crow Storm does so much damage.
Going down the line, really quick bans by both teams. A rare Shen makes it through, and Team Solo Mid picks it up right away. So much banning of the things like Fiddlesticks, getting rid of Rumble as a target ban, leaves stuff like Shen. Team Solo Mid jumps on top of it.
We've seen a lot of Alistar and Malphite bans, both champions quite strong. The Shen first pick, Darius likes playing Shen, and Curse responding with Vladimir and Blitzcrank, elements known for not only his Sona, but also the Great Steam Golem.
This is looking like they're just flying out. Both TSM and Curse are actually getting a lot of what they want. Curse loves running those Blitzcrank Morgana comps. Neither of those have been pulled out. If they land the Dark Binding, they can land the Rocket Grab, and vice versa. So it's really good synergy there. And the odd one loves playing both Nunu and Maokai, but they'll be going with that support Nunu and jungle Maokai, which is right in TSM's wheelhouse. Back and forth, neither team really denying each other of their favorite champions, instead just going to go head-to-head against each other.
It also really seems like both teams know exactly what they want to play. You said it. They are insta-locking. They are picking quickly. They know what they want, and they are grabbing it right away. And there is Nijaki, the Morgana. We could see it. He was a beast on Morgana at IPL Face-Off, and there it is, the lock-in. We're going to see that Blitzcrank Morgana combination once again.
Really, Cop playing a bunch of Corki very recently. Chaos as well. What AD is he going to jump up against Corki with? Really not a big surprise. It's Corki or Graves for Chaos very recently, and I'm expecting him to go right with that. Now their very last pick is actually going to be Reginald's mid laner. He's been leaning towards Karthus lately, but that's banned out. So what's he going to do to go up against Morgana?
One of the great things about Reginald is he has a wide stable of champions. He also likes champions with those global presence ultimates, so maybe we could see a little bit of Twisted Fate. He already has the Shen. He's sitting on the Ryze, Oddone grabbing it for him, and there's the lock-in, so we're going to see Reginald on Ryze. Ryze, an aggressive champion. I believe you called him a tanky damage turret, and that is exactly what he is. He can build tanky and still deal so much damage, and will we see
not be surprising.
a jungle Shyvana? We were actually talking to St. Vicious, and he said, yeah, I might play Shyvana. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe combo it with Morgana. Really, this is Curse's one of their favorite compositions. Vladimir was getting banned out most of the weekend at MLG. St. Vicious had a Shyvana ban almost every game at IPL Face-Off. Nijaki barely ever gets to play on Morgana. This is Curse's favorite team composition, if I had to guess. And TSM let them have it, so they have something planned. They're not scared of this. They think they can beat up against it. And giving them their wheelhouse champions could be a bit of a risky move.
Well, confidence is something that TSM does not lack, so they may be looking to beat Curse at their best. They've called the 2-0. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to back up those words. But with St. Vicious on the jungle Shyvana, he's known for that Shyvana. The Curse opting to not go for the Orianna. Orianna was open, instead going for Nijaki, who is an assassin with those Morgana bindings.
The big play early here is going to be coming from the odd one in St. Vicious. Shyvana's counter to Maokai's camping lanes is to just go in and fast clear his jungle. This is all going to be about TSM owning the jungle and not letting St. Vicious come and steal it. So if they can pull that off, if they can stop St. Vicious from getting farmed, he likes playing carry junglers. Shyvana's a great carry. If you can get farmed, TSM shuts him out of that jungle, they're going to shut him out entirely.
And Odd One has really made Maokai his own, and in general, he really made Maokai. So we'll see if he's going to be able to handle that aggression from St. Vicious. And we are into the game. Crowd, everybody in the audience, everybody at home, scream at your TV, let me hear you.
are riled up and ready for this semi-final action. The winner of this game gets an automatic qualification for the Season 2 World Champions and a bid in the Season 3 Championship Series. The loser will have to have an elimination game for 3rd and 4th place. So much on the line for both of these teams.
Jet, the stakes couldn't be higher. Curse going in for an invade. Will they land the binding? They just missed Chaos, but TSM knows that Curse is there, and Curse is going to back off immediately. A couple of pings going down, but a smart ward is going to spot them out. Actually, that is a sapling. It's going to spot them out. If they're going in, they haven't aggroed the sapling yet, so it looks like Curse is going to sneak out. St. Vicious was seen for a split second, and pings going down, and we have a pause very quickly. Let's take a look at these team compositions really quick as Reginald raises his hand.
Some slight technical difficulties. It's been a very smooth tournament up to this point, and Chaos was flirting with disaster, waiting just far back enough in that triangle bush that when they threw on the Dark Binding at the center of it, it didn't quite connect. That would have been disastrous early for Team Solo Mid.
In IPL Faceoff, we saw Nijaki hitting the outer corner of the model several times to land those bindings. So it was really, you would say in real life it was inches, but in this game it was pixels.
So really there was, speaking of the pregame a little bit, there's a bit of trash talk going down on Twitter between
Yes,
X Special
there
and
was.
Elements, these bottom lanes. A little bit interesting, wouldn't you say?
It was. It seemed like TSM and Curse, they know each other. The players have known each other for a long time, so some good-natured ribbing. I believe it was X Special and Elements, the two support players, calling each other out a little bit. X Special saying, hey, we're going to 2-0 it, and Elements responding with, well, we might disappoint you.
Yeah, the favorite comeback I saw was, I hope you didn't party too hard at the Curse Party, Elements. We wouldn't want you to get knocked out twice in one day. I'm just quoting X Special. That was not me.
It was a good banter regardless, and we're going to get back into the game in just a second. Jat, let's take a closer look at these team compositions. As we move into those 5-on-5 fights, what are we going to be seeing in terms of initiation as well as the major damage sources?
Big thing about Curse and when they play Morgana, they let him create, they let him initiate. He'll jump in, he'll pop his ultimate, and he just tries to split up the team. St. Vicious needs to go in right on top of Nijaki just to make it more difficult for them to escape. It's got a slight bit of knockback and vacuum effect when he jumps in with Shyvana. So they're comboing all of their AoE together, and then they want Cobb to just clean up. It's much like how TSM actually plays a lot of team fights. Dyrus and Reggie are all about diving in together, getting everyone low. Chaos sits in the back for a little while, and then he jumps in near the end to clean things up. So it's really, if they go in with St. Vicious, that's how Curse is going to engage all at once. And TSM, in this game at least, is a little bit more sitting back, waiting for some counter initiation. Dyrus' shield's going to be very good to protect Chaos, as is the Odd Ones thing. And there we have X Special's Nunu ult coming down as well. So it's a bit of a protect the Chaos comp, which is slightly different than we see from TSM occasionally.
Reginald and Dyrus in those fights, trying to deal as much disruption as they possibly can. We saw that in their quarterfinal. They like to split fights and let Chaos do a cleanup crew. We are actually going to have a quick restart of this game, and we will get right back into the action. Same picks, same bans, and talking a little bit more about that early aggression, Maokai could be a little bit vulnerable to early counter jungling. How is the Odd One going to be able to react to that?
The great thing about TSM is they're one of the most difficult teams in the world to counter jungle. They learned a lot when they lost to Moscow 5 at IM Kiev, and then in future tournaments. They ward very well early on when they're expecting jungle invades, and Reginald and Dyrus just start playing their lanes more aggressively. When you're worried about counter jungling, if you push your lanes, it gives you more freedom to roam around and support your junglers. So Reginald, at least very early on, is going to be shoving most likely very hard on a Nijaki.
And Reginald, as well as TSM as a whole, it seems like every time they have a major loss, they learn something from it. From Moscow 5, they learned that those 2-man, 3-man collapses that Moscow 5 really made famous and shifted around the play style a lot. And then later in the Zubu Blaze match at the MLG Summer Arena, TSM got caught off guard by that early aggression, and they took it and made it their own. So it seems like every time TSM loses to someone, they add another bag, another trick to their bag.
They pick up things and adapt very quickly. This is going way back, but the last time Curse's bot lane beat TSM was actually when Cop, and Elements were running Nunu Kog'Maw. And this was before people were playing Nunu as a dedicated support very often. They actually crushed down onto Chaox that entire game. What happened next game? X-Special and Chaox picked Nunu and Kog'Maw and just rolled over Curse. So they adapt so quickly to any other strategy. They have a lot of options in a lot of ways. It seems like their play is standard, but that's because they can mimic pretty much anyone they choose to. They don't need to come up necessarily with strategies themselves because they can take someone else's strategy and execute it better.
And in that game, didn't Chaox end up using Cop's build exactly down to the rune page?
He stole his rune page, he stole his masteries, he built the exact same item path, and then just executed.
Chaox certainly is an incredible executor, and we were talking a little bit earlier about Chaox's KDA, and we said that Reginald and Dyrus are less worried about the kills and more worried about making sure that the enemy's opponents just die. And that is why Chaox's KDA is usually through the roof. He is an incredible cleanup crew.
And I was actually talking with Curse a little bit yesterday about how they're going to attack that and how they're going to stop Chaox from cleaning up all these fights. You can't necessarily go for Chaox or try to shut him down because he sits so far in the back and just waits for everyone to get low before he goes in. So what Elements and Saint were saying is they needed to shut down Reginald because if you cut off the initiation, you cut off their team fighting entirely. And it's really all about keeping Reginald down. And by comparison, that will keep Chaox down because if people aren't low, he can't go in and clean up.
And Reginald's trademark aggressive play style, it is a risk-taking style. When you break it down, Reginald has just become so good at realizing what is a risk worth taking, but at the end of the day, it could get him in trouble if he takes the wrong risk.
It's going to be about them countering his aggression in a lot of ways. He loves to roam bottom. If Nijaki can follow and counter-gank that without being spotted, it'll be very advantageous for them. Really, if they try to get too aggressive onto Nijaki, St. Vicious can come around from behind for ganks. The odd one's going to be camping a lot of lanes on Maokai. One of the best ways to counter a heavy ganking jungler is to just be there when he ganks for him so they commit and then you come in for the counter initiate, and that's very effective. All these things coming into play, and we're very close to getting into this next game. It's going to be great.
So Jat, looking at this composition one more time, which lane do you think is going to get the most jungler attention?
In the past, Curse has been spending a lot of time getting Westryce going, but now that he's on Vladimir instead of something like Darius, which generally needs to snowball the lane very hard, Westryce always has a long, good laning phase. He always hits late game great, and we're finally loading back into the game. How pumped are you guys?
The patience and enthusiasm in this crowd is going to be unmatched. We are jumping back into this Game 1, Part 2.
A little bit.
Let's get into the action. We're loading up for a bit. One last time, if you think Curse Gaming is going to take this Game 1, let me hear it.
Now, we heard earlier all the TSM fans in the house. If you want Team Solomid to take this first game away from Curse, let me hear you. It's a really good Team Solomid sign, I have to say. We are in game finally. Once again, thanks for waiting. Game 1, TSM versus Curse.
There is a lot of love for TSM in this crowd. Something we didn't touch on is it's a little surprising from my end that Westryce picked up Vladimir because almost every single time someone has picked Shen, Westryce has grabbed the Darius to go for those apprehends to almost eliminate that global presence from Stand United.
This could be a problem for Curse. If Dyrus starts split pushing, they don't have much that can interrupt him from arriving in fights, and they're just dancing around that sapling. They know where it is. Sapling can't see him, though.
Curse grouping up. A lot of pings going down saying, do not move, do not move. We do not want to get seen. Not sure where they're going to be pathing from here. They have enjoyed that bottom tri-brush invade. They tried it before, almost getting Chaos with that dark binding, but he was just out of reach. Odd One sitting around the Wraith Brush, and Chaos.
Oh, the sapling just popped off. Now they are moving out. So TSM might think they have vision. This next sapling has just been set up, and that's going to find him out.
There's the minefield, but not before Elements places an advancing ward, so he's going to be able to get eyes on Odd One if Odd One decides to go for the Wraith, and Odd One immediately reacts, going for that Wolves Blue start. Maokai, with those saplings, can clear these camps so quickly.
You can already see they're working on owning the jungle a bit. The 2 early wards from Team Solomid in their own jungle, just making sure that if St. Vicious goes in there, they will definitely know. Comboed with Curse, 1 ward at TSM's rates. That's just to keep track of the Odd One and try to counteract his ganks a little bit. Really, it shows they're a little bit worried about St. Vicious and how fast he can clear the jungle.
Binding from Nijak is going to help St. Vicious start this red buff off. Standard opening for both of these champions. Shyvana typically grabbing the red buff, and Odd One is going to snag that blue buff, give him a little bit of extra mana regeneration as well as cooldown reduction. Let's see if St. Vicious is going to get aggressive early on this Dyrus top lane.
We already have a 2v1 swap here. There will be Blitzcrank and Corki up. Normally when St. Vicious starts red on Shyvana, he will gank top with an exhaust gank, but now that they've put Blitzcrank and Corki up top, they're already shoving the lane, and Dyrus is going to be sitting in his tower, so that does not seem like a very good possibility for St. Vicious, and he's going to very quickly just go back to base already and then work elsewhere.
Jad, who's got the advantage in this 2v1?
This 2v1, Blitzcrank is a better 2v1 laner than the Nunu, just because there's substantially more kill potential. If they land a hook, they can provide a lot of threat almost immediately, and it's going to be tough for Dyrus to live off early, whereas Ryze can attack from range, he can last hit with his spells slightly better than Shen, and Nunu is more of a harassy, full-on engage, and when they're pushed into the tower, they won't have the time to do that.
Mid lane Reginald and Nijak trading a little bit, both hitting level 2 in that bottom lane. X-Special was zoning out Ryze a little bit, trying to get a couple snowballs down on him, but that sustain from Ryze keeping him in the lane a little bit, but the 2v1 already starting to show on his health bar. There he's grabbing a quick transfuse, and St. Vicious going for the blue buff, so he is content to stay in his own jungle at this moment and let the 2v1 do their job.
St. Vicious trying to power up as quickly as possible, smiting down that blue buff. He's going to be threatening. He might actually come in for a reverse gank here a bit on X-Special. He's trying to predict a dive by waiting in that brush. They're not going to die. He realizes that he's going to move on.
The immediate aggression from Chaos and X-Special. They've got this bottom turret almost to 50% health. St. Vicious beelining into Odd One's jungle, trying to put some pressure by taking those rates.
But the pressure on the bottom tower is something Ryze is not ready to cope with. Meanwhile, Odd One hoping for a gank, but comparing the damage dealt to the top tower with the bottom tower, it's not even close, and TSM might be trying the fast push here. They know that the Blitzcrank Corki has much more kill potential, so they might be trying to end that lane as soon as possible. In the quarterfinals, they actually took a tower at 3 minutes and 45 seconds. They are no strangers to trying to get those global objectives very quickly, and we could see it yet again this game.
Mid lane, on the other hand, Reginald had to burn Flash. He got ignited, and Nijak showing how aggressive he wants to be on that Morgana. But Cop and Elements bearing down on Dyrus. Dyrus doing his best to sustain, doing his best to farm, and Curse jumping on any opportunity to lay some damage down.
You can see actually fairly early that they are out farming TSM. There's a 400 gold advantage so early on into the laning phase. So TSM, with that strong push bottom, is trying to end this 2v1 phase as quickly as possible because they know it's not working out in their favor.
Taking a closer look at the minion kills, Chaos at 28 minion kills to Cop's 32, so they're holding fairly steady. And in the mid lane, Reginald falling behind a little bit on Nijaki's Morgana. Nijaki is Morgana, who is an incredibly strong farmer, but Reginald's gonna have to make up those minion kills fairly soon.
Something Reginald has to be careful for in the middle lane is when Nijaki pings level 6, he will often just flash right on top of his opponent and pop his ultimate. It allows him to get the guaranteed Dark Binding on top of Tormented Soil and just take him down with decreased magic resist. And Dyrus actually taunts in. They're going for a gank up top. Will they be able to pull it off?
Taunt going down onto top. There's the flash and the snare. Elements flashing out. Odd One getting exhausted. The Ignite going down onto Elements. There's the taunt from Dyrus. Could Elements go down? This could be first blood. Yes, it is. Dyrus is going to pick up first blood for TSM.
What a well-executed gank there by the Odd One. Elements needed to wait to use his flash until after the Twisted Advance had landed on him because that Twisted Advance tracks through Flash, and he just landed right on top of Elements after. And with that red buff on Maokai, there was just no escape. The gank in the 2v1 lane turns that around, and now Dyrus will ping 6 faster and be able to globally affect the game much faster.
TSM getting the opening that they wanted, especially on one of their solo laners. We said Curse needed to pick their fights, and the Odd One certainly picked his spot for that successful first blood gank. Nijaki getting aggressive with Odd One's jungle, but Odd One's going to be able to pick up those rates, no problem.
Knowing that Maokai is a very good early ganker, Curse was fairly ready for it. but he knew that Curse was going to be ready for it and waited until 6 minutes for his first gank. Used the flash at just the right moment. Great conversion and great planning by TSM. They were slow playing a bit in the quarterfinals, but their first act of aggression pays off this game.
And Dyrus showing what they learned from that match against Azubu Blaze. Looking at his minion kills, he has that first blood, but he also has 32 minion kills to West Rice's 14, and Curse swapping back. So they decided that the 1v2 not working as well as they wanted to, but in the top lane, Dyrus 2 levels ahead now.
And we actually see the odd one getting the early boots and mobility, and he is just cruising into that lane. Here they come onto West Rice.
There's the taunt and the snare. West Rice is pulled out, but he has to flash out. He's going to get out of there with 50% health, but Odd One wants to camp this lane and keep that Vladimir down.
It may be more about just getting Dyrus going, because he can show up at any fight as long as his ultimate is there, and the stronger he gets there, the stronger the entire team becomes. Looking down at that bot lane, they've swapped out of the 2v1s, as you said. There's a lot of practice that goes into 2v1 swapping, and TSM has a lot more experience, having fought against quite possibly the best 2v1 laners in the world, Azubu Blaze at MLG Summer Arena, and really, they're just showing how much they've learned.
Reginald's going to pick up this blue buff, and Dyrus will also be able to teleport wherever he wants unopposed. West Rice doesn't have anything he can do to cancel out that Stand United. So now that Dyrus is ahead, he can really have his way with the map.
He's going to have his way with West Rice up top, as well as with anything else. Vladimir not quite ready to deal with Shen at this point. You can see he has the Doran Shield and the 1 spellbook, but until he gets some spell vamp, and until he gets some cooldown reduction, he's really just going to be at the mercy of Dyrus. Especially once Dyrus gets that Wit's End, he's going to be able to completely bully West Rice. It's going to be big trouble for Curse how well Dyrus is dealing so far this game.
And despite Dyrus being ahead, Nijacky's still aggressing on Reginald as much as he possibly can. He is still ahead, 73 minion kills, 74 now to Reginald's 58. Reginald has the Ruby Crystal and the Mana Crystal, so we're going to see the Catalyst, probably an early Rod of Ages, but Nijacky pushing, and trying to steal those rates to prevent Reginald from catching up and farm, and we could see a roam here.
He is level 7. He is walking through wards, however. They're getting the blue buff fed over. Reginald has to be very careful of Nijacky's aggression, especially now that St. Vicious is level 6.
Oh,
unfortunately, the red buff actually ticked out and took the blue buff from Nijacky. That could potentially allow Reginald to come back in this lane a little bit, knowing that Nijacky doesn't have the free mana to harass with Dark Binding.
Reginald has the blue buff. He's probably communicated this to the Odd One sitting around the raids. Reginald has back. He has grabbed a tier of the Goddess, so he still has that sitting on that Ruby Crystal. Probably going to build that into a Catalyst a little bit later, but right now he wants to charge that tier as fast as he can, get that extra damage from the mana.
He went the early Ruby Crystal because he knew of Nijacky's aggression at level 6. He wanted to be able to withstand it if Nijacky did go for him. Potentially because he brought that extra health, Nijacky decided not to go. Looking up at the top lane here, Dyrus harassing really hard, and he still hasn't even picked up that Wit's End. 2 level advantage already on top of Vladimir.
And 20 minion kills ahead. Taking a look at the goal, Dyrus is at 2650 to West Rice's 1840. So that first blood and that farm is really starting to show.
Taking a look a little bit at the bottom lane, you can actually see Chaos getting that advantage onto Cop already. 16 minion kills more. He is just straight up out farming right now. Cop's got to pick it up because we know how Chaos gets going.
And Jet, we don't typically see a Nunu Graves combination. What's the strength of that bottom lane combo?
This is really just about the late game for them, actually. Chaos likes the late game utility of being able to quick draw around and clean up fights, and the Blood Bowl is just going to allow him to auto-attack even faster. The strength of Nunu Graves really isn't even in the lane, which is why it's somewhat surprising that they're out-laning Blitz Corki so well. This really just comes down to Chaos and X Special's skill, because that's a bit of a late-game, mid-game matchup.
There goes Odd One, the snare going down. Blood Boil from West Rice will dodge the taunt, but West Rice is ignited. He is getting low. He drops his Emo Blade. Couple more hits will do it. Dyrus standing united onto the Odd One, so the Odd One can loop around, and West Rice is going to get out with a sliver of health. Maybe a slight mistake from Dyrus.
Dyrus thought they had enough ticking damage onto West Rice to finish it off, but because of that gank, they are taking the Dragon down bottom, and there's that objective control by Curse, taking advantage of the gank top.
Curse has been devastating on their Dragon timers just as they spawn. Curse is there, taking the first Dragon of this game 1. TSM's going to try and punish them for that by taking the top tower. Jat, how equivalent of an exchange is that? The tower for the Dragon.
Pretty much an even exchange. I would argue that for TSM, getting the tower is better than giving up the Dragon. This is just all about, quote, pressuring objectives even though they gave up the Dragon free, they're putting a lot of pressure on the top lane. You can look at the top lane tower and the bottom lane tower. They are both extremely low on health, below 500. It's really just when they want to take the towers, at the flip of a switch, they could potentially get both of those towers down and get a huge spike in global gold. They really just need to do that soon.
Both of those cursed towers are extremely low. Nijaki trying to rob the TSM jungle whenever possible. Ryze was able to push Dyrus and the Odd One off of that top lane, and looking at the gold, despite Curse grabbing that dragon, they are only 300 gold ahead, so there's very little to separate these teams in this game one. St. Vicious looking to change that. He has his oracles, and with the Shyvana, he's going to be able to ward clear extremely fast.
It's actually quite rare that the enemy jungler gets an Oracle's Elixir before the Odd One, but this could potentially give Curse a bit of superior map control. You can see they have all 4 wards in the river, so the Odd One's ganks, unless he comes directly up the lane, will be unsuccessful, whereas St. Vicious at this point can go pretty much wherever he wants because he's been going around and clearing up TSM's wards. This is quite good play by Curse, and it's very close right now.
Odd One getting those boots of mobility. He's looking to gank, he's looking to roam, has not gotten the oracles, and he won't be able to do that much.
He's just walking through all those wards. They know exactly where he is.
He looped around to that mid, and he looked to go for the gank, but if he had walked through, Curse would have seen him and would have aggressed. Curse and Elements being aggressive in their own lane, trying to put some pain down on that bottom tower. Elements grabbing X-Special, knocks him there. Cop getting the armor shred, a couple of missiles down, gets a big one on him, but X-Special is going to be able to walk out there. Quick snack, and he'll be A-okay.
Good job not dying there. Both of them actually going for that resiliency early. This is what you see TSM supports do. They will get the Heart of Gold before the Philosopher's Stone. It gives you the same gold generation, but it makes you much more beefy in lane, and it's harder for them to burst you down. With that Heart of Gold, they could barely take him below half just because he's so beefy right there.
And Kaox still ahead of Cop, 125 minion kills to Cop's 113. Kaox has the double Doran's Blade, so he has the extra health, he has the extra life steal, and with the BF sword, he's going to be hitting that much harder. Cop, on the other hand, only has 1 Doran's Blade and the BF sword, so a pretty even build, but Kaox has that Doran's Blade advantage.
I want to take a look top here. Dyrus getting that Wit's End, but Ryze has done a great job at keeping his minion kills up. He hasn't really even had that much help, and he's still got that revolver, got the Sorcerer's Shoes, and really just sticking around. The big issue here, like we've said so many times already, is when the team fights start. Ryze can't get down. Dyrus can. Really, the next time the Dragon's up, that's when TSM's going to try to force something big.
And Dyrus had a 20 minion kill advantage, and Ryze has closed that. So he's not only been holding his own and getting his farm, he's been trying to bring that lane back to even. And we know when Vladimir hits level 9 and about level 11, he's going to be a lot scared with that 2-second transfusion.
The Odd One actually seems to be pretty much just farming. He's trying to keep pace with St. Vicious. He got caught up with a lot of wards, but he hasn't spent too much time going around trying to gank. That's a lot of farm for a Maokai when compared with Shyvana. Only being down 16, considering how many more minions Shyvana is capable of killing, shows that the Odd One has been making a concerted effort to not fall behind St. Vicious. And so far, they're dead even.
Dyrus jumping onto Ryze, gets the taunt out, trying to get as many auto attacks as he can. That key strike is hitting quite hard. Reginald burning his ultimate to clear the wave, as well as put them pitting down on Nijaki. Nijaki getting a blue buff, so they are even on that. St. Vicious, on the other hand, a couple pings going down, so TSM did see him, but he's going to go in, he's going to rob those raids. They're trying to starve Reginald out. Flash going in from the Odd One. Ryze counter flashing out, but Snare going down on the Odd One anyway. Pool and the ultimate. Team will play going on. Dyrus is going to go over the dive. The taunt is down. The ignite is down. Will Oddman be able to take it out? He is committed to this, and he's going to take Ryze out. 2-0 TSM.
They traded the tower damage much more successfully than they did last time, getting the last tick down. Nijaki trying to make it up for the Odd One, but those boots of mobility will kick in, and he's going to end up running away. Picking on top lane, or at least trying to, and trying to get Dyrus big.
That flash, counter flash from the Odd One. He was so disciplined in waiting for his snare, and the pool from Ryze makes Vladimir so difficult to gank. But the Odd One, super tanky. He has that Heart of Gold, he has that Philosopher's Stone, and now he has that Oracle's Elixir. So we're going to see some serious ward, counter ward action between St. Vicious and the Odd One.
The 300 gold picked up from that kill cues him to buying that 400 gold Oracle's Elixir. That's actually something that is much his style. He will build an Oracle's after a kill, just so it doesn't set him fatally far behind if he is to lose it. He's now looking to potentially gank bottom. This could be where TSM starts turning it up a bit. Odd One's got it. The pull goes off, and here comes the Odd One.
Element grabbing Chaos. Chaos is not the Yorick. Chaos is dead. Cop taking him out. Odd One jumping in to try and counter gank. Cop does cleanse, and he's going to try and turn it onto the Odd One. Odd One dropping his ultimate. But while this entire exchange was happening, Dyrus was taking the first turret for TSM, so a successful gank bottom lane for Cop. And there's the ultimate going down onto Reginald. Reginald is ignited. He's going to blast through, and Nightjack is going to fall, getting this there. Will he take him out? Yes, he will. Nightjack winning that 1v1 versus Reginald.
Continuing to chase onto Odd One as well. Curse just going punch for punch with TSM. You knew Chaos was trying to bait a pull. He just got a little too early, and they were able to finish him off, shutting down the 2v3. Then a counter roam by Nightjacky, and the Dragon Timer is perfectly worked out for Curse. Could not be better. They picked this up uncontested, and that's going to give them a bit of a lead.
Curse Gaming is like clockwork with these Dragon. There is number 2 for them. 17 minutes in, they are starting to take a bit of a lead, almost 2,000 gold.
Underdogs coming into this game, they get a tower top to trade back, and that's going to give them a 2,000 gold advantage. The snowball is actually going down bottom lane, and Chaos going right onto Elements.
He's not going down onto Elements. Chaos flashing, and he wants this kill. He's going to continue auto-attacking. Mana Barrier goes down, and there's the execute from the ultimate, but Chaos is not done yet. He wants to. Will he get him? Yes, he will. There's the double kill. And also a turret.
Point counterpoint for TSM. They get aggressed on, they get taking the Dragon down, but then Curse sticks around a little too long. TSM says, remember us, the Nunu train just begins. They land the one ice ball, and there is no escape. Dyrus using his global presence, coming in, tanking the turret essentially for Chaos, and a crisp double kill. That's how they come back.
A 2,000 gold lead from Curse evaporated in that exchange. Double kill for Chaos. That is not where you want those kills. He's 2-1-0, 166 minion kills, and he's got his Bloodthirster.
That's going to be giving him a bit of a lead onto Cop. You can see the gold still fairly close. 6,200 for Chaos, 5,800 for Cop. Graves slight edge, but a bigger edge when you factor in the fact that he has Blood Boil, and that is more gold than you realize.
And we're gonna take a look at a quick replay on that double kill.
So really, you can actually just see them. He's gonna wait until the mana shield drops before firing off his ultimate for the execute, and then they don't actually care about the tower here. They know they're faster, they have the Blood Boil, and they communicated that well in advance to know that Dyrus was gonna be in there to shield him. Good communication and team play by TSM.
See if Chaos is going to be able to snowball that lane out. Nightjacky, though, with the smart roam before that. Will Curse be able to counter how TSM has been countering them? It seems like Curse has an answer, and TSM has an even bigger answer. They are making sure that this game stays dead even. Very little to separate these two teams.
Vicious trying to clear out wards. They're actually going to jump right on top of them.
They're going down on St. Vicious. There's the Hemoplague. The ultimate from the Odd One is going to try and negate some of this damage. Westrice is pulled out. X-Special is exhausted, but Westrice is just going to nuke Chaos. St. Vicious chasing down X-Special. X-Special is silver health. There's the speed boost from St. Vicious. Will he get him? Yes, he will. So another exchange 2-0, but Reginald is there to try and clean up. This could be trouble for him. This is a 1v3 situation. There's his down. Reginald is dead. 3-4-0 in favor of Curse Gaming.
They were just there once again to counter aggression. Somehow they won a 2v3. TSM went in aggressive, but St. Vicious landed that ultimate right over all three members as the Vladimir ult was there. And that's the second time they've actually won a 2v3 engagement, and the second time that Nightjacky has perfectly countered Reginald's roam and have it result in another kill. So really, Nightjacky has been a step ahead of Reginald so far this game, and that's leading to that 3.5k gold advantage.
Looking at the points of the game that we talked to for Curse, as Nightjacky takes down another turret for Curse Gaming, Curse has to punish the TSM aggression. They did just that. Reginald came up to try and clean up the way we've seen him do it so many times, and Curse said, nope, you're in a 1v3 and we're gonna kill you.
Nightjacky, despite having that blue buff taken away by St. Vicious' red buff early, has maintained an advantage over Reginald this entire time. 36 minion gold lead. The items aren't quite there yet for Reginald, but the Abyssal Scepter has been completed by Nightjacky. That large amount of magic penetration he's gaining is yet to be countered by nearly anyone on TSM. Chaos, Reginald, and X-Special are all going to be taking nearly true damage from those Morgana ults. And really, with that Dragon control that Curse has, expect another battle for that when it comes up next.
At the European Regionals, we saw SK score a major upset against CLG EU. CLGEU was able to come back and get third, but Curse looks like they want to repeat that here at the North Americans Regionals. They are ahead and they want to build this lead. Nijaki and Elements are there. Could we see another hook? St. Vicious is looping around. The spell shield is there, and there's Reginald getting grabbed. And a massive battle. Nijaki going in and getting 3 members, but he's going to get nuked by Chaos. Reginald's going to go down as well. St. Vicious is going to try and get out of there, but another 1-for-1 exchange. Westrice, however, is there. Will something happen? X-Vessel getting ignited. The Hemoblade going down. Westrice is going to take him out. Hemoblade still on Dyrus. Odd One is out of position. Chaos doing his best to kite him. Ooh. The hook just missing the Odd One. So they're going to be able to get out of there, but still another one battle for Curse Gaming. 2-for-1.
And that could have been a lot more disastrous for TSM. They were barely able to kick off Nijaki's life right before his ultimate proc, so they were able to get out of that with a 2v1, and that was lucky for them. Not the best team fighting so far by TSM, despite burning that Dyrus ult. He's really only turned in minimal impact, creating that kill bottom lane. Other than that, Westrice has been doing a great job sticking with him and building up his farm. We have a replay of that last fight. We can see actually they exhaust Nijaki and he almost waits. He thought about waiting for his ultimate, but instead the first tick of it goes off with lower damage. They burst him down. St. Vicious actually starts running away and they wait for the converge. Here comes Westrice, here comes Koff. They all try to come flying in. They get down to X Special and at that point they're just going to try to disengage. They've lost their CC because Morgana dies and TSM was able to just walk away. That hook would have ended Odd One's life.
That hook, indeed, Elements has been spot on, and every single time Curse has been winning those engagements or doing well, Elements has been there with the hooks. These engagements from Curse seem to be coming out of nowhere, and they are there and they are engaging as fast as they can, almost catching TSM off guard.
This is going to be very tricky for TSM as the game continues. They almost have to now counter Curse's aggression because of the 2 mid matchups. Nijaki is substantially more farmed than Reginald. It's hard to initiate for Reginald when you are behind. If he goes up for those rune prisons, he could die nearly instantly. Nijaki, it's on him. He's going for that Zani's Hourglass and the crisp timers. This objective not getting pressured by Team Solomon. Yet another Dragon. Number 3 for Curse.
In the quarterfinals, TSM was so strong with their timers, and Curse is almost outplaying them in that regard. That is the 3rd Dragon for them in this game. They have had complete control of it, and they have extended their lead to 5,000 gold.
Right now, you can tell they're kind of sitting back, trying to get Chaos a little bit farmed. They know they have the Nunu Blood Boil late game, so as long as he keeps his farm comparable to Cobb, he will be stronger late. And normally, Chaos has to be mostly cleanup for TSM, but because Reginald's fallen slightly behind, he needs to get a lot more onus onto himself. Chaos really has to carry this one. Normally, he cleans up all the kills. Now he has to somewhat create them sometimes. This is a very dangerous thing for an AD carry when you have to play more aggressive. He's now in danger of the Blitzcrank hooks, of the Dark Linings from Nijaki. He can't sit so far in the back, otherwise they'll lose the fights before he enters them.
Taking a closer look at that AD carry matchup, Chaos 3-2-0. He has his Phantom Dancer as well as his Bloodthirster. Kopp on the other end getting the same build. Typically we see an Infinity Edge or a Trinity Force on that Corki, but Kopp opting for that aggression and that sustain in the battles.
There's no wards up here for Chaos, and there could very well be, well, they just got spotted by that ward in the river, and they're charging. Will they be able to escape?
There's the speed boost. St. Vicious diving in with the ultimate. Elements is there. He just misses the hook. Great juke from X Special. That Blood Boy is going to help him out with the additional move speed. A couple of pings going down from Curse. It looks like they want to cut off TSM. They do have vision on them, so they know that they're there. Nijaki is there, but the Odd One will be able to help prevent them from getting caught out. Curse Gaming going to loop around this Baron, and we could see but Westrice getting caught out. Ignite going down. The Hemoplague to X Special. Westrice stealing a ton of damage.
Quite bad for Curse. Dyrus is split pushing on the side turret. They're forcing the Dragon, but they don't have a Shyvana ult. They do not have a Vladimir ult. If they do get a 5v5, if they can't take this Baron down in time, TSM could win a fight, but they might get this Baron. This is going to be huge.
Will Curse be able to take this Baron? They will, and they're going to turn onto TSM. So much damage going out onto Elements. Elements is going to flash out with a sliver of health. Nijaki is going to turn it around. Koff picking up and out before X Special takes out Elements. And Dyrus, here he comes. He's got Westrice down. The snare going down onto Koff. Koff is low. There's the Zonius from Nijaki. Dyrus firing the taunt a little bit early, but it doesn't matter. X Special is going to pick up the kill. So TSM cleaning up that fight despite the Curse Baron.
Curse absolutely forced into action by Dyrus' split pushing. They were down the 2 ultimates, so even though they had the Baron buff on them, they did not have the team fight capability. TSM 3 for 1. That's the first team fight they've really come out on top. However, they gave up the Baron. They need to get a lot of objectives here while Curse is dead in order to make it worth it, because giving up that Baron is not only a lot of gold, it's still a lot of power on the 2 members that remain.
Top is still there, and he still has Baron buff, but Dyrus is going to go in. Pled's going down onto him, and Dyrus is going to drop immediately. Cop is going to get nuked by Reginald, but this fight is not over yet. X Special caught out by St. Vicious. X Special forced to flash. St. Vicious is not done with him. Quick snowball to the face means X Special is going to be able to maybe get out of there, but Element still has that speed boost. Will X Special be able to get up? This is a 2v1 situation. What is going to happen? He shoots it. St. Vicious is on a killing spree, but Elements could be taken out. Elements is solo, so is Chaos. Chaos has one taken out. He is life killing everything. He is taking Elements out, and that is a shutdown for Reginald onto St. Vicious. How the heck did Chaos survive that fight?
That's the Chaos carry. They had the Zeke's Herald from Nunu. So much lifesteal. That's Chaos carry. He was in danger. He was not waiting to clean up that fight. He took all the damage he could, and he just crushed onto that fight. A great trace by Curse. We have a replay of that last engagement. Look at this, the juke on the pull, completely dodging it, but he still gets the ult. Look at Chaos quick drawing in the face of 2 members, a sliver of health. The Maokai ult saving him with the extra lifesteal. The Bloodthirster doing a whole bunch of work, and the total shutdown. Such a close chase by Curse, and TSM turning around that crucial moment.
Chaos not only survived that fight, he is now 4-2-5, 250 minion kills. He has another BS sword. He is at 10,000 gold to Cop's 9,400 gold. So you said Chaos is going to have to carry it. That's a great start.
Another BF sword. He's going to be building that into an Infinity's Edge. There's really not a huge amount of armor onto Curse here. St. Fish is trying to build it up. Element's trying to build it up as well, but he's going to be the one now just taking out the majority of their members. Reginald getting a little bit more farm than that, and the split pushing by Dyrus needs to come into a bigger factor. You could see Curse didn't necessarily have an answer for that. They don't have someone that can put up one-on-one against Dyrus and prevent him from going in. So every time he split pushes, Curse has to force something really hard, and that puts him in a tough spot. So TSM really driving Curse into action with Dyrus' play.
5 members of Curse moving up around this mid lane. They want to take out this turret. They're going to take it with little fanfare, but TSM is on the chase. There's the chunk out from Nijak. Curse is going to try and turn around with the Hemo Blade. Nijak is in the middle of this fight. He is extremely low. Dyrus is about to go down from top, but Reginald is on a killing spree, taking out St. Vicious, and a couple of trades later, Nijak is going to take out Dyrus, but Reginald with the double kill. Top going down, and Element is going to go down. That is ace number 1 of this game 1 for TSM, turning this game around.
Unreal play by Chaos. Even after sitting that entire team fight in the face of Curse, he's still out of there with full health. They know how to adapt to the situation. Reginald supporting the other carries of Chaos and just face tanking this turret. They know there's no threat from the members, and look at this. He dodges out. They could potentially get an inhibitor out of this.
It isn't normally, you don't normally see an AD carry tanking the turret, but in this case, TSM's going to make an exception, and with that exception, they are going to take the first inhibitor of this game 1.
Still slightly down on gold, but they will be able to most likely pick up their first dragon here. You can see the team fights slowly turning into TSM's favor. They seem to be outplaying Curse here. They got such a good initiate. They really forced Curse into fighting them just with how low Graves took Morgana in that pre-fight. First dragon in the game for TSM. How is Curse going to respond? Because that's 2 big team fights in a row that they've lost.
And not just that, Curse Gaming had an immense lead, and we are dead even. 30 minutes into this game, 16 kills to 2 in favor of TSM, 5 turrets to 4. So TSM's late game plays paying dividends and making sure that they stay in this game, as well as get that inhibitor advantage.
Now that Ryze has farm for Reginald, he is just a late game turret of damage. Nijak is really all about that front-loaded burst, and if they can't win the fight immediately, then TSM's going to clean up more, because TSM has a bunch of sustained damage and a bunch of burst resistance. The ultimate from the Odd One, when they can force the fights in the spots they want, are just doing so well because all the AoE damage from Curse is just not enough to take them down, and TSM's sustained damage is going through. So what Curse needs to do is they need to not have those full, long 5v5 engagements like we had this last time. Let's take a look at the last fight and see how it all went down. So really look at the damage down onto Nijaki, and it just forces them to go in. But before any ultimates are even used, all of Curse is at half health. Chaos still in the fight. You can see him pinging down Nijaki. It's really him and Reginald turning down the damage. And watch this, he just destroys Cop, he destroys Westerice, and Elements goes, oh crap, I'm the only one left alive. Chaos not even hurt. Easy kills.
And that Maokai ult negating so much magic damage. Odd One expertly placed that in the middle of Nijaki and Westerice's ultimate, making them so much less effective. And that lifesteal from that Bloodthirster on KX, in addition to what is now an Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer, kept him at full health at the end of that fight.
Chaos now almost a full 2,000 gold ahead of Cop in the item builds, on top of him just having the Blood Boil buff from X Special, so an unreal amount of damage coming out from Chaos. So hard now. Really, it's on Elements and Nijaki to try to catch him out of position. He doesn't have any defensive items. He has no GA, no Q-Clicks over Satch. He doesn't even have Cleanse. He's completely relying on his skill and positioning to survive in these team fights. So far, he's done it incredibly expertly, but this is a high-risk, carry-centric build. He cannot make a mistake if TSM wants to continue winning these team fights.
Pings going down from TSM. They want to ward clear. They want to control this Baron area. X Special looped around the Baron pit to make sure that there wasn't any sight from Curse. Curse is grouping as 5. A couple pings going down, so TSM knows where Curse is, and it seems like Curse generally knows where TSM is. One hook could signal a great fight for Curse, but if TSM engages like they have been,
Curse has to go because they have no answer for Dyrus. They need to force a fight. It's really on TSM to make them force a battle.
And there they go, X Special getting pushed out, but Reginald is there. He is still full health. He flashes in, and he is unstoppable. Cop forcing out, trying to get a better position. He burns his cleanse. He is out of this fight, though. Nijaki has the Zonies down, but he is ignited. Zonia's burning most of it down, and Reginald finally gets shut down by Cop and TSM, though. There comes Dyrus, and there goes Cop. TSM, another brilliant ace, and they're going to push down this top turret.
Try as they might to shut down Chaos, he quick drew and flashed away from Nijaki's ultimate. He then essentially 1v1 St. Vicious, and they're going for the face tank on the tower. They're trying to end this game.
Odd One and Dyrus so tanky, and Chaos having so much damage. They are going to go for it. The first Nexus tower is going to go down. They are continuing on. Elements will be up in 7 seconds, but that doesn't deter TSM in the slightest. They're going to go straight for this Nexus and try to take this game 1, and it looks like they are going to do just that. Listen to this crowd. TSM taking game 1 after Curse showed us that this is going to be an incredible series. Let's take a look at the scorecard. TSM 1-0 in this semifinal. Jat, what was the turning point in this game 1?
It was basically when Chaos put on his carry pants and just decided to destroy Curse. They had Elements low, the chase, where Chaos was at a sliver, and he took down 2 members of Curse. Really just showed that he's here to play. That's where he got a whole bunch of items, and after that point, he did so good of a job of positioning, he just took down the majority of Curse almost by himself.
He took out 1v3, he face tanked turrets, he put on his carry pants, and he definitely earned the MVP for game 1. We actually have a replay of that second ace for TSM.
We can watch this fight. They force into an engagement. And watch everyone trying to get onto Chaos. Shyvana ult, Morgana ult, the exhaust. He just waits it out. He knows he can just crush them down. Now it's on to St. Vicious. He's hitting what's closest to him. He's hitting the biggest threats. Takes him down almost quickly. Quick draws away from Westerice. Shooting around this fight a little bit. That was a great job by Chaos. Once he killed St. Vicious, once he dodged the Morgana ult, that was lights out for Curse because there was no way of them closing him at that point, and they had nobody who could duel him.
We're going to have to see if Game 2 is going to be just as explosive as Game 1 is, and if Game 1 was any indication, we are in for a wild ride in this semifinal. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Game 2 of Team Solo Mid versus Curse Gaming. Don't go anywhere.